What's up, my people? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the Manchester United Fans Corner. I'm your host, Segun. Guys, it's Monday, and as usual, we're here to talk Manchester United. Yes, we're having a game later this evening, and hopefully we'll see ourselves after the game and we'll analyze that game. I hope we win against Everton at Old Trafford. But guys, a lot of talking points for Manchester United, really. And we are still on the issue of, the midfield options. I think clearly you've seen our analysis, and clearly you can also see that we've defined why that is the next step in our progression. The midfield options is naturally the next step. And why is it the next step? We've analyzed the fact that one of the first things that Ruben Amorim decided to do at Manchester United was to build a spine to his new team that will play the 3-4-3 system for him, hopefully for a number of years. And, he has gone ahead to fixing a lot of the parts of the spine, but there's one missing part, which is the midfield. So first and foremost, we analyzed earlier, in previous episodes that, the spine, first of all, comprises of the goalkeeper, a young, promising goalkeeper in St. Lamens. We said I heard the fact that the likes of Matthias De Ligt as the central back, very, very influential this season. He has come solid. He is, massive improvement. He's adapted to the Premier League and is beginning to excel. And that's a base of that spine. We said the fact that we brought in two inside forwards or two number 10s in Matheus Cunha and Brian Mbeumo. Brian Mbeumo has been fantastic. Mr. Premier League has been fantastic for us so far. And then we got in a young and promising, a lot of talents in him, striker in Benjamin Sesko. He helps us in a lot of ways, aerial domination, link up, hold up, and all those kind of things. He helps us there. And so we said Amorim has gone through a lot of these building blocks of the spine, but one major part is still missing, which is the central midfield. And when you look at the number of midfielders we have currently in this squad, we don't yet have two that we can say are perfectly the kind of midfielders that play within a 3-4-3 system in terms of the profiles, right? I know Bruno Fernandes can do it, and you have seen the fact that he's a very creative player, and you can see what he does even in that deep role. And I see a lot of improvements in his game, and I've said many times, also Casemiro has been amazing in that area. Those guys have stepped up in terms of their decisions on the ball, the ability to keep it cool and help the team stay compact and not play long balls. They've done well. And so, guys, one of the things we want to talk about is Casemiro, first and foremost. We want to talk about Casemiro. And then we want to talk about what should Manchester United do as a final verdict for this midfield role. A lot of news have been talking about January transfer window, summer. What should we do? And who should we choose? Because we have analyzed a lot of midfielders, right? A lot of midfielders. I can't stand mentioning the names. A lot. Even some of the names you guys sent to me, we've not even finished analyzing them, right? So what should we do in the summer and the winter, that January and summer transfer window? And who are we to go for? Because I said we need two midfielders. Who are the two midfielders we need to go for? So, guys, let's jump right into it. Let's enjoy ourselves. I think first and foremost, let's talk about Casemiro. Casemiro is a redemption story for Manchester United. Clearly, we all see that. I think Casemiro, for me, it reminds me of what the Manchester United environment can do to you if you are not on your toes, if you are not committed, if you are not focused. Casemiro is a player that when we signed him from Real Madrid, a lot of articles came after we signed him, and he had a very, very good first season for us under Erik ten Hag. We won a trophy. We won a trophy in that season. That's the Carabao Cup. We won that trophy. I think we got to the final of the FA Cup that same year. We did well. We finished third that year. Casemiro was very, very influential. Even brought a part of his game in terms of scoring goals, shots from outside. A point came where he was, crossing. He was scoring headers and everything. So it was really, really good for us in that first season. And all of a sudden, he had a few weeks of holiday, and Casemiro came back overweight. This is a player that we've read that was a professional, a gym rat at Real Madrid, and the United environment made him or the culture at United, in my opinion, made him overweight. Right from the first day he came back, we're like, what's going on? Why is Casemiro overweight? And he struggled for that season. Really struggled for that season. And it was not good to see. It was not good to see. And I feel that whenever I look at Casemiro currently, I always want to make myself happy by believing that this redemption story of Casemiro can also be used to interpret the redemption story of United in terms of a culture where professionals, even winners, serial winners like Casemiro, would come in and professionals become overweight, and then the redemption story is that professional gets a U-turn and now becomes very professional and is now really succeeding, and currently is even indispensable to our starting 11 currently. So I want to use that Casemiro story to just make myself have this sense of positivity that, and truly when you look at the fitness work, the training ground, the reduction in injuries that we've had, it looks like truly United has gone through redemption in the aspect of commitment, fitness, and professionalism. And for me, it's a good thing. Really, really a good thing. So guys, but the question mark in here is, what is the future, or what does the future have for Casemiro? And a lot of talking points about, no, United are not interested, he should be going. So another talking point is saying that United are interested, but he has to sign a new deal on lower wages. And not just lower wages, obviously, it's looking like lower wages and lesser playing time. And so there are a lot of discussions about what should United do. And for me, I'll give my opinion. I think I appreciate Casemiro. And as I said earlier, I love the redemption story. But for me, I think the journey has to come to an end for Casemiro in Man United. This is my own opinion. I believe and I appreciate what he brings to the team on the pitch, off the pitch, leadership and the likes. But for me, I think we need to get two midfielders in, either between the January transfer window and the summer. I think it's a must that we get two midfielders into this United side. And I think, and I hope that we also get two midfielders out of this club by the end of the summer transfer window. So we need to do 2 in, 2 out. And this is my belief. We need to do 2 in and 2 out, really. And for me, I think the intensity needed and the way we are going to as a United team, I really don't see Casemiro there. Starting from next season, really. I really don't see him there. I really do not see him there. And for me, it's a case of, I feel United should let him go. I really appreciate what he has done for the club. But if I was to make the decision, I would say bye-bye, knowing the fact that we have to. It's a must now. We have to get 2 midfielders in. But before I move on to those 2 midfielders and who those 2 midfielders are, I think for me, I need to explain a little bit why Casemiro has been successful for us this season. Casemiro has been very successful for Manchester United this season due to a lot of reasons. And I think when you look at why he has been successful for us this season, it shows us that we can be more successful if we bring in young midfielders that have what he gives us already in their game. So first and foremost, what has he brought to United that has made us very, very successful this season with him is the fact that Casemiro is a player that is proactive in all his actions. You see the tackles, you see the passes, you see the movement on the ball. He's a player that is not relaxed. His composure is not a relaxed composure. He's a player that wants to push things, tackles, moving with the ball, passing to his best of his ability. He's proactive in all his actions. There's that energy in the way Casemiro approaches the game. And one of the things we face is that when we take him out of our game, maybe 60 minutes, Ruben Amorim substitutes him, having pushed that energy and everything. The people that replace Casemiro, either Kobe Mainoo or Manu Ugarte, don't bring that intensity, don't bring that proactivity that Casemiro brings. And that's why we struggle. So that is one reason. The fact that Casemiro, brings proactivity. Also, when you look at this season, we see that we've used Casemiro in many different ways. Sometimes higher up the pitch than it would normally be, right? To push the team forward to his best of his ability, and you see the tackles the ground covered and everything. These are the reasons why he has really been successful for us this season. And the people we have on the bench, Casemiro, Ugarte, don't necessarily give us that distance covered, don't necessarily give us that, that intensity. And I said earlier, they don't necessarily give us, that pushing the team forward. And I think that's why he has been successful for us this season so far. But now we cannot decide to keep him, in my opinion, when we can also get midfielders that are young, that can do what he's doing for us and even do it better. So my final verdict really for Casemiro is I appreciate what he has brought to our team. I recognize why he has been successful and why he has made us successful this season so far. But I also look at it that I can get what it gives me, apart from maybe the experience now and the backroom off the pitch leadership he provides. But on the pitch, tactically, I can get what it gives me and even more when I get two young midfielders. And so for me, as a person, I decide to go with the two young midfielders and let Casemiro leave the club. So guys, the young midfielders, intensity, strength, speed, three things. Intensity, strength, speed. And I think the two midfielders I believe United should be going for, and it's my honest take, if we are a serious club, if we are an ambitious club, yes, I know the finances are a question, but also it's a matter of how ambitious are we, how active are we, how proactive are we. I think we should be getting two midfielders in the January transfer window. I think if that's the business we do, I think we need to get two midfielders in. And why am I saying this? First and foremost, we are in a period in United currently where we play just one match, a season. And just one match a week, sorry. One match a season. One match a week, right? And that situation helps our players to train and understand the system. And I think that's a major thing that has helped us to make this progression we've made in recent weeks. Because we are not being overloaded by games. When you play midweek games consistently, the manager doesn't have time to train the players. It's all recovery, all preparing for the next game, all board talk, all tactical talks. But actual work on the football pitch, we have been able to do that because we play one game a week. Right? And then so I want the new midfielders, the two new midfielders, ideally, I want them to partake of that, at least for the half part of this season, so that they can adapt, they can get used to the club, they can get used to the manager's system, they can make the mistakes and adapt, on the training pitch and get ready to understand these certain things before the beginning of next season. Because next season, hopefully we are back in Europe and hopefully we return to start playing midweek games, right? So the number of games, we not allow these guys to really stabilize and get used to the club, get used to the manager, get used to the demands of the system and all those things. It might just be we play this game, we are going to Champions League or we are going to Europa League, let's play. And it should just be playing the game and they're not trying to use actual matches as training, training moments to get used to the system. I don't want that situation. So I think if we're ambitious, I think we should be going for these two midfielders in a January transfer window. If it's going to take us money, United should spend the money. Funny enough, our midfield has been one of the most underinvested part of our squad. Really, I think it has been since after Alex Ferguson. Really, we in terms of not just money that has been spent there, but I think the quality that you have brought in after Alex Ferguson has been questionable. And if you have an opportunity to get two, in my opinion, of the most promising midfielders in the Premier League, young midfielders in the Premier League, I think we should go ahead to get them. It's going to cost us, but really, it will cost us regardless. We need to get these guys. So I think for me, the two midfielders you should be looking at getting is Carlos Baleba and Elliot Anderson. I've done a lot of analysis, a lot of looking at the profiles of the players, strengths and weaknesses, and I've analyzed a lot of midfielders, either on live shows and even recorded shows like this. And I've come to the conclusion that if I was the United manager, I'll be demanding for two of them. That's Carlos Baleba and Elliot Anderson. I think they are the first grade A choice for United, considering all the qualities we want in our system, considering strengths and weaknesses, considering what the team needs in this moment. I think those two guys will do that for us. I really believe to do that for us. So guys, let me go into why these two guys will do that for us. First and foremost, let's talk about Elliot Anderson. I think Elliot Anderson is a midfielder. We did an episode on him. We analyzed him deeply. So let me just go through some of the things he offers to remind us of what he offers. And first and foremost, I described Elliot Anderson as a vertical link. He's someone that is very good in progressing the ball, even Carlos Baleba. But Elliot Anderson, for himself, analyzing him now, is a vertical link. Ability to push the team forward is in his game. I also explained that this is a guy that is not shy of tackles, is not shy of dwells. As at the time I analyzed him, I think it was the top in terms of tackles and and duels, one of the top in terms of tackles and duels. And the guy is there. The guy is not afraid to go into tackles and duels. He's not afraid to go into those duels. Anderson he wants to get there. And I think that energy is what we need in our team. That desire to also want to get in tackles, to also want to be physical, right? We need that in our team. And also I said the fact that the guy is comfortable on the ball. He's not shy. When you look at the statistics in terms of the touches he makes on the ball, it's amazing to see, right? Yes, he's not a high volume passer, but the fact is the stat and even the eye test shows us that he's not afraid on the ball. And I've always said it that looking at what we suffered and what we are still suffering, Ugarte and even Casemiro at some moment, we need midfielders that are comfortable on the ball. I think that should be like a foundational requirement for this club. And I'm happy that Anderson, with the physique, with what he does off the ball, I'm still happy that the guy is decent on the ball. He's comfortable on the ball. And I think that's one of the reasons I believe we have to get him. We have to get him. The guy plays it simple. And funny enough, simple is genius in this game. And that's one of the things I also said about Adam Watson. Simple is genius. And I like the fact that he plays it simple. Plays it simple. And I really love that. I really love that. And I think also that the guy is versatile. For me, I feel one big reason why I had said that Elliot Anderson is a player that should play for Man United is the fact that the guy is versatile. In terms of, as a manager, I can use him as the high intensity midfield option, pushing forward, acting as the vertical link, right? Trying to make things happen with good passing, good, comfortable on the ball. But also, I can also use him as one that acts as a screen. And I think you can look at what Tuchel is using him in England. And he has used him in England. He can act as that screen, right? I think I watch games where like him and the like of Declan Rice partnered, right? And I said, this guy can actually do that. When you look at him, the ability to play simple, comfortable on the ball, defensively solid. He can play. For me, he's a versatile player that I really, really like. And I think United have to go for him. I think we have to go for him. Yes, the price is another question, but I think if you're ambitious enough, we should strike a deal and go for Elliot Anderson. Now, Carlos Baleba. Now, people will be like, okay, why are you now saying that Anderson is going to be the guy that's at the screen in this situation? We're coming back. We're coming there. But let's talk about Carlos Baleba. I don't want to go ahead of myself. Baleba offers most of what I've said about Anderson. Most of all I've said about Anderson. Obviously comfortable on the ball. The physicality is there. Good in aerial duels. Amazing talent. He has a pizzazz, if I want to use that word, to his game. I think he's a talent United should not lose out of. Carlos Baleba is a talent I don't believe we should lose out of. I believe that talent and the ceiling is something that we shouldn't lose out on. Now, people might say, oh, but he's not having a good time at Brighton. This season, he has not been, been good. And I've watched a couple of his games at Brighton this season. And for me, I don't want to be biased, but I think when I look at his game for Brighton, especially their last game that they played, I think was it against Brentford or who they played against? And I watched the game and I'm like, this guy is half-hearted in everything he's doing. His mind is obviously not there. This is where I see it. I'm not speaking. Maybe I'm a little bit biased in the sense of I'm a United fan and I want him to come to the club. But looking at it from an analyst perspective, the guy is not putting in the same efforts to do basic things like passes that he did last season. And when you look at that, you're like, could it be because of the link? Could it be his mind is not there? He's a young player. He can easily get derailed by the news, transfer news, right? Easily get derailed. And I think that's what we've seen. But also it's a question of why are you playing this way? You should play better. But I don't see it as, I don't sense a lack of quality when I watch those games. I just sense half-heartedness. I sense someone that is absent, someone that just, especially their last game, I'm like, come on. Yes, half-hearted, man. This guy, clearly half-hearted. This guy is not doing he's not doing these things fully. It could be a plus for United, or could be a negative. But I think we can talk him out of that. I believe also when it comes to United, I believe he has gotten his dream, and I believe the performances, hopefully, and I believe the performances will get better and improve. Is where he wants to be, and I think he will play well. I think he's a talent we don't want to miss out on. He obviously wants to come to United, which is a big plus. And I think we should get him. I feel the guy tackles interceptions, the ability of him, to push a team forward like the way, Anderson does it, even better than Anderson. He does it better than Anderson, pushing the team forward. And he is not just pushing the team forward centrally. The ability of Carlos Baleba to push the team forward, either in the left-hand side wing or the right-hand side wing, and having that variability to his game, having that ability to hold a little bit the ball and push with the ball a little bit, to enter into space. He has a lot of things that I'm like, we cannot afford to lose or miss out on Baleba. I think we cannot afford to. Yes, I understand the current form is not looking like that, but when I look at him, I don't see the current form as a lack of quality. As I said earlier, I think it's just half-heartedness. So now, why these guys over the rest? I've explained, I've done analysis many times on these players, right? But why them over the rest? First and foremost, I want Baleba to enter our team. I feel, as I said, I feel it's a talent we should not miss out on. But I cannot bring Baleba and Watkins together. Why? I think it's clear, it's evident. It's the balance of the team tactically. Using two midfielders that are left-footed, it won't work. That team won't be balanced. The balance of that team won't be there. So I need to bring in a left footer and a right footer for balance. And obviously, that's the reason why, if I'm to choose between Baleba and Watkins, because they are both left footers now, if I'm to choose between them, obviously, there are certain things that Baleba does that Watkins doesn't have in his game. And there are certain things that Watkins does that Baleba still can do a little bit of it. Passing, Baleba is not bad in piercing passes. Is not bad in passing the ball to the sides. It's not bad. Yes, it's not as good as Watkins. It's not as effective as Watkins in terms of what Watkins can do with the little time he has on the ball in terms of passing. Yes, but Baleba is not bad when it comes to passing, right? But also, when I look at Baleba wins area duels more than Watkins. Right? Clearly, I said it many times that area duels is a big problem in Watkins' game. Also, physicality. Baleba is more physical than Watkins. The Premier League is a physical league, especially the way football in the Premier League is beginning to go to the traditional English way of playing football. The physicality in terms of long balls, 1v1 situations, the ability to win first balls, second balls, and third balls. And I think it's not just this season. I believe it's a trajectory, really, that we're beginning to see this season of how managers are beginning to, to go man to man and have some individual 1v1 situations, right? The physicality is there for Baleba. I think even Baleba's movement on the ball, which I analyzed when I did Watkins' own, that, Watkins is just receive and then push. I want to see Watkins, push to the sides, which I mentioned, but I think Baleba does that already. He does that already. So if I'm going to choose a left footer for the balance of my squad, and I have to choose between Baleba and Watkins, I will go with Baleba. That's for me. And then if I'm going with one left footer, I have to go with a right footer. And I think the best right footer will be Elliot Anderson. So these are the things I looked at. And I look at the fact that using Baleba and Anderson offers me variability in terms of I can decide that Baleba stays back today, Anderson pushes forward, right? I can decide that, let Anderson stay back. Baleba pushes forward. I can have a lot of variability. I can decide for two of them to push high intensity and push, and I can now tell Delete to step into midfield or Martinez to step into midfield. So there are a lot of tactical variabilities that I see that I can do. And these guys are hardworking players. These guys are high intensity players. We can outrun team. We can outpower team. We can outplay teams with these two guys in the midfield. So I believe for me, I think I will go with the two of them. I've analyzed it very, very well. But definitely I understand the fact that United does not just need only two midfielders. As I said many times, I think we still need a different profile, which I will do a separate video on that. But I believe we need a different profile from what we already have. If we're going to get Baleba and Anderson, I still think we need a different profile. So we analyze that. But I feel for now, I think we could go with these two guys. I think we have to go with these two guys. That's Baleba and Anderson. I think we're really good for us. It will help us in terms of pushing the team forward, in terms of defensive work, in terms of area work, in terms of ability to go through the sides and out teams, create a little bit of overload in those areas. I think it will help us, in terms of our work rate, our energy rates. I think it will help us really. Solid guys. So I know it's going to cost a lot of money, but if United's ambitious enough, I think we should get them the January transfer window. Let's get those. Let be the deal we do. The January transfer window. It will be decent really for me. So guys, these are my opinions on the two midfielders I believe United should go for. But it's just my opinion. Let me have your own opinion. I believe these are the grade one, in my opinion. Premier League experience. We've seen them play in the Premier League. We know what they can do in the Premier League. We've seen their numbers. We've seen the eye test. So guys, I just believe that they are the two we should go for. But let me have your opinion. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you agree with my take on Casemiro? Do you agree with my take on Baleba and Anderson? Let me have it in the comment section and let's have that discussion. Thank you for sticking with me. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And most importantly, don't forget to share. This is Vertical Football and I remain my humble self, Segun. Until I see you next time. Bye.